Montego United stays in the race, Dunbeholden are out of the race, and Arnett and Portmore cancel each other out. But we start one place and one place only, and that's at the Anthony Spalding Complex, where Waterhouse can smell playoff coming. This is Match Week 25 review show. Yeah, people, welcome to JPL, and Easter is over, and with it we got some good football in the JPL, and we're coming down to crunch time really. A lot of big games going on with some big implications, including what we're going on with the second automatic spot between Tivoli and Cavalier. But before we get to there, we started right at Waterhouse, who are chasing to lock up that top 6 spot away from Montego United and Dunbeholden. They play a Mullins United team that are safe and don't really have much to play for apart from getting Jason Wright that golden boot. Well, the good news for Waterhouse is that they started just right. There was no Andre Fletcher in this team, but they still got Mitchell, who after the corner got the ball onto his left foot and swinging a good ball in and find Brown to nod it home to get his first goal of the season. It was just the right start that Marcel Gale and his men wanted, and immediately settled the nerves. So much so that they went on the front foot again and they were simply balling out. Nicola Christian was superb in the middle of the field, and he was laying off some good intricate passes that would free up his forwards, but they were just fluffing their lines. One of the main culprits was Javier Bryan, who is they're still the main man up top, but he was simply not getting it done. But they were still playing well, and it was really surprising they didn't up 2 or 3-0 by the time the 30 minutes came around. And with that, it was always danger of Mullins coming back in. They still have Jason Wright as I said, and around the 35th minute, they got a decent spell of pressure on the Waterhouse back line that led to a free kick just outside the box. Up stepped their main man Jason Wright, who did a good curving shot to the top corner, but they saw Cavalier Foster, and that's Jamaican cap Cavalier Foster pull off a good save to keep Waterhouse in it. So a good wake-up sign for Waterhouse to think about going into the halftime break. But lucky for them, they still continued their play and they were simply bossing the game. I absolutely think that Dallas in the left back position had a superb game, and he did well to set up. Javier Bryan would probably was the easiest chance of the game by far, and he somehow again fluff his lines. He get the ball and he got it over the bar in the 6-yard box. But to the credit, Waterhouse did not allow Mullins any chance to even get a sniff of returning into the game. They bossed possession, and Mitchell and Denora Thomas was getting into their element, and Mitchell himself got in on goal after a throw-in, but he didn't think to lob the keeper. But Mitchell will get probably the best setup pass he will ever get this season, and it came from the most interesting person on the field. Frankinson seemed to have the ball under control when he simply decided to say, hey, I'm going to be a clever playmaker, and back heel a no-look pass to his keeper that fell short. Mitchell took it, rolled it to Harrison, and put the ball in the back of the net. I have no idea. I can't even imagine when was the last I ever see such a defensive mistake in a football match. And I can't imagine what his coach was thinking at that point. Such an easy goal to give up, and it just proves how Mullins have been playing all season really. The good attack or the defense has let them out severely. But Waterhouse would not care one bit. They need the 3 points. They keep going again. Eventually they draw a penalty that see Javier Bryan get a chance of redemption and dust himself and put away for his 13th of the season. And just like that, the game was practically over, especially after Jason Wright had to leave the game with an ankle injury, and Mullins basically have no interest to try even fight to come back in the game at that point. So Waterhouse could just ease their way into a 3-0 win, and with that, almost sure lock-up spot for that final spot in the playoffs. So a good win for Waterhouse, a much needed one, but man oh man, just like the game last week against Dunbeholden, they honestly could have won this one by 7 or 8. Anyway, 3 points is 3 points. Let's look at the stats for this one. Yeah, so Mullins had 6 total shots overall compared to Waterhouse 10. Mullins had 2 shots on target compared to 5 from Waterhouse. 5 corners for Mullins, 9 for Waterhouse, and 1 yellow card apiece. Yes, so this does not leave Waterhouse in the driver's seat with that 6 points. I will give you more on that later when we review the other teams. But Waterhouse are looking good. I have complained all year that they're a good team, just need to be consistent, and they're finding that consistent form at the right time. It was pleased to see how well they played even though Andre Fletcher was not present. Anyway, again, it finishes Mullins 0, Waterhouse 3. So what about the teams that are chasing? Well, the one that are the closest is Montego United, and they played on the Monday night at the same venue where they took on Harbour View. Now, Harbour, I gave them a bit of credit in their game against Tivoli last time. They may have lost 1-0, but I didn't think they played so poorly. But they do have an issue all year round, and that's with their keepers. Portmore was brought in after some mistakes by Glenroy Samuels, and then he made a glaring mistake to give Tivoli an easy goal last time out. So what does Coach Bernard do? He went back for his number one, and Glenroy Samuels was back in the starting lineup to try to stake a claim. But he did not do a good job of that, really, because within the first play of the game, really, somehow, some way, he decided to handle the ball outside the box and give a Montego an early chance at goal. Another mistake by the keepers for Harbour, and Owen Garden stepped up and put a great curling shot in the right side to immediately punish our Harbour team. A good free kick, but again, I have to blame the keeper here. I have no idea why he was that centered when the free kick is that close to the penalty box. Anyway, 1-0 up to Montego, and just like Waterhouse the day before, they immediately settled the nerves and they got their football flowing. Wayne Gordon, Brown and Fletcher was absolutely boss in this game, and they were making some good touches, especially Fletcher. He was dancing his way through onto Harbour backline and almost teamed up his teammates when he round the keeper and couldn't find the final pass. Montego was playing some great football, but credit to Harbour, they were in this game and they got their chances going forward as well. Demar Rose, who I think is by far the most creative player they have, floated a good Jermaine Hughes style ball up to Andre Fagan, who did well to get his shot on target. The keeper William did enough to smother it. A danger that they keep going. I thought Thompson had a good game as well on the left hand side for Harbour. Between him and Rowan Brown got some half chances off, but couldn't really find the back of the net. So one in the sense of Montego, who to their credit were still probing the other side. They just couldn't get it done despite their good play going forward. The half finishes like that, 1-0. And again, credit to Harbour once more. They came out to the second half much the better team and was really probing. They almost come close once more again to Rowan Brown, but it just couldn't find the back of the net. So Montego desperately needed some breathing room, and they got it to Joan Weatherly after some good tactical build-up on the left-hand side, who saw their number 10 Ferreira, found in the fella Brazilian Korea, who laid it off for Weatherly, who dropped the shoulder and then rifled a right-footed shot into the back of net to give him that breathing space. 2-0. It was a good goal from the Weatherly, who was on form, and he came at the right time. Harbour, to the credit, once more kept probing, and it seemed that the usual issue of not finishing was again the problem, as they just could not, no matter how many huff and puffs they do, they could not just blow the house down. But to seal that nice victory, Owen Garden once again got the chance in 84 minutes to finish it off, and that he did to give Montego an unsailing 3-0 victory at this point. A good win, and it keeps them pace with Waterhouse, and they just have to hope for a bit of luck on the last day coming next round. But let's look at the stats for this one to show you how much Harbour put up a big fight. They had 18 total shots compared to Montego 16. They even outshot Montego on target. They had 6 on target compared to Montego United's 5. 8 corners for Harbour compared to 5 for Mobe. 1 yellow card apiece between Harbour and Mobe. So yeah, Harbour 2 issues, rear ugly head again, poor keeping at the back as well as poor finishing up front. They definitely were in this game, and I like how they play, just like they did against Tivoli last week. But they desperately need a top striker and I guess a top keeper come summer. But Mobe will bring a side of relief. They're close to that playoff line now. Let us see what happens next week. But for now, once again, it finished Harbour 0, Montego United 3. So, what about the third team that was chasing? And that was Dunbeholden, who was given a big blow when they lost to Waterhouse last week. But they still have a slight chance. They just have to get the best of Cavalier, who themselves have a lot to play for as they chase that second automatic spot. So, Dunbeholden was going into this one with Blackwood in the lineup, and once again saw there was no Nicholas Nelson. But Blackwood took care of his opportunity and gave Dunbeholden the deserved lead, really, when they scored in the 8th minute. I thought they were controlling possession at the time, as Cavalier was simply feeling himself into the game. But that Blackwood strike did wake Cavalier up, and they were starting to now play their more usual style of football and coming into the game. McClure answered back for Cavalier and got the equalizer in the 21st minute. The half settled at that point, and both sides ride out their half as 1-1. The second half came, and Cavalier seemed to got a big talk from speed, as they were the dominant force we expect them to be. They came out striking, and in the 49th minute, McClary got his brace and gave Cavalier a much deserved lead at this point. This brought Dunbeholden them usual possession style shell, and they were now chasing the game and being much more urgent. We saw them cough up the ball a lot more often, and saw Cavalier got the third in the 75th minute when Stein came up and got his another goal of the season out of nowhere. Dunbeholden was still chasing, hoping for the glass gas hope, and they did got one back by Ajuma Johnson. At this point, they were 3-2, and they were thinking maybe there's a chance to save face. But all chances were dashed in the last kick of the game practically, while Ronaldo Tony Robinson got the final fourth goal for Cavalier to kill off Dunbeholden finally. It also killed Dunbeholden's dreams of making playoffs, and they are now officially out, and it's very sad ending after a slightly decent up and down season they had. But Cavalier would not care, they need that to keep pace with Tivoli. We'll talk about them soon. It was a much deserved victory after that impressive second half. Anyway, let's look at the stats with this one. What happened in Dunbeholden Sports Complex. Again, to show Dunbeholden good first half, they had 18 total shots overall compared to 10 by Cavalier. They had 6 shots on target Dunbeholden compared to 7 from Cavalier. 6 corners for Dunbeholden compared to 4 to Cavalier, and 3 yellow cards for Cavalier compared to 1 for Dunbeholden. Yes, the Dunbeholden issue of conversion come up again, and it basically cost them the season. Well, Cavalier gave them a masterclass on how to counter in that second half and pick them off at the right moments to get that victory what they needed. So again, a good win for Cavalier, keep them pace with the top 2, while Dunbeholden, well, it's unfortunate. They played some decent football all season, but their season is practically over. So once again, the match finishes Dunbeholden 2, Cavalier 4. So we'll move on to who the team Cavalier is now chasing, and that's his Tivoli Gardens. Tivoli, of course, on paper, are the easier fixture, and they went all the way to Juxhall to take on the relegated Lial. Now, Lial have put up some resistance when they play at Juxhall, and this is their final game in this league at Juxhall. So many people were thinking they would probably put a little fight, but it didn't seem so, as again early goals happened, and this time was from Stephen Clark within literally the first kick of the game, who give Tivoli a confident boost in 1-0 lead. From there, Justin Dunn, who is the league's leading goal scorer, got his one in the 15 minutes to really seem that Tivoli was in cruise control. Credit to Lial, somehow they find a way to get one back, while Francois found himself in the box to fire home to give Lial a cutback on the deposit in the 38th minute. But all hopes were dashed easily by the second half, where Tivoli controlled the game easily and found the third goal from Lewis in the 67th minute. They finally finished off Lial with ease in the 71st minute by Wellington, and from there the siblings cakewalked themselves into an easy 3 points. Not much from Lial, but again we didn't expect much, but at least they gave their fans something to cheer about with that goal. Anyway, what's the stats are like for this one? Well, for this one I almost don't even want to say anything, because the picture is worth 1,000 words. Lial had 5 total shots compared to 30 by Tivoli Gardens. 2 by Lial were on target, and 14 of that 30 were on target by Tivoli. 14 corners by Tivoli compared to 1 by Lial, and I'm so sorry I could not find a possession stat for this game. I would have loved to see what the possession was like, but quite sure it's probably 80-20, just the top of my head. But yeah, complete dominance by Tivoli. I actually predicted they would have scored 5-0. So that could be a bit disappointing for Jerome Wade if you really want any negatives from this game. But Lial, again, they not do themselves any favor. It's good that they got a goal back. But again, when they go to tier 2, I don't think they will miss that much. Anyway, again, it finishes Lial 1, Tivoli Gardens 4. With that win by Tivoli, Arnett and Portmore, who have any chance of catching them, must beat each other. And you know, sometimes all these things go in football, they might cancel each other out. But before the game started, it was an interesting move by Xavier Gilbert, who left out main man Fabian Reed off the bench and went with a front three with Harbour and Dixon and Kelso. Kelso has been superb lately on that right hand side, but to go with Dixon through the middle, it's going to be an interesting watch for not just Arnett fans, but Jamaican Reggae Boys fans as well. While Portmore were just happy to have Siobhan Walsh back in the fray. They line up with both Walsh and Barrett up front with Marshall behind them. How did it play out? Well, it was literally a game of 2 halves. In the Portmore side of things, in the first half, they were the main threat. And credit to them, they came up buzzing right out the gate, and I was literally running hard at the Arnett team. They simply just caused pressure and caused Arnett to make many turnovers and saw themselves got to the many chances at goal. Funny enough, their lone goal came from just the Arnett defender sleeping when a quick free kick saw Walsh not running that hard to get behind the back line and did enough to hold off Willis before he tucked away for his goal. That goal to show what they were missing for a while, as Walsh is clearly their main threat up front. Very disappointing from Arnett, where the defense has been decent lately to give up such a goal. From there, we were hoping Arnett would have kicked into their usual style of play, but it never quite happened. Arnett were too busy trying to play long balls and trying to bypass their midfield and trying to utilize air balls to the wings, where Harbour and Kelson was had no chance. Dixon himself was trying to run about to get onto the ball, but he was simply out-muscled and outnumbered. And with that, Gilbert was clearly looking frustrated on the sidelines, and he was trying to probably tell his men to keep it on the carpet more often. But Portmore were pressing and were hoping to get their second goal. This never materialized. And that would have come back and hurt them, as the second half now saw some changes by Gilbert and a change of mindset, as Arnett was now playing their usual style of football. They were now getting the ball on the ground and moving about. One such play saw Jaheim Thomas setting up Rashane Thompson in behind, who despite his poor touch in front of goal still managed to slide past the keeper and into the goal. 1-1, and it was probably deserved after Arnett much better second half. From there, it seemed a second goal was going to come in, and it will be from Arnett as they completely bossed the game. They were definitely in their flow moment now. Firma really was on and saw Dixon more on the right side, and between him and Harbour, they were coughing up some pop shots. Harbour first with this shot that was too straight from the top of the box before this turn and rasping shot by Dixon that narrowly misses. That went in. It will be by far the goal of the season, and he clearly showed this boy's talent. But credit to Portmore, they still have Alex Marshall on the field, and who I must give credit for doing this game. He led the team as a captain should. He was almost everywhere in the park and was still able to manage to tee up some of his players who just could not finish off a counter. In the end, no more goals came, and it was end up disappointing for both sides, as a 1-1 draw saw both of them out of contention for that top 2 spot. Anyway, let's look at the stats to see how exactly this game played out in the books. Arnett had 13 total shots, which I can tell you majority of those, almost 90% of those, came in that dominant second half, compared to 5 total shots from Portmore United. Arnett also had 4 shots on target compared to the lone goal by Portmore United. 4 corners for Arnett compared to 3 by Portmore, 2 yellow cards for Arnett compared to 3 by Portmore. As I stated, a game of both halves. Portmore were by far the better team in the first half, while Arnett adjustment in the second half got them into the game more, but it was not enough to give them the victory. So a disappointing result for both of them, and now it leaves a likely chance, a very likely chance, they will face each other again in the playoffs. But again, for now, it finishes Arnett 1, Portmore United 1. So we will move on to defending champion Mount Pleasant, who are of course league leaders at the moment, who can now put on a nice bow and wrap up the league. They face Humble Lion, who have nothing much to play for but pride, but was hoping to show off some of their young players. Barnes kept his spot in goal over Briscoe, and in a shock turn of events, Cleo Clark started on the bench. While switch things up as well, Chambers kept his spot in goal despite Shotgun Davis being available, but again Chambers has been some decent form, and they also had Nathaniel James back in a playmaker role for Mount Pleasant. How this one went? So this one gave the feeling and the vibe as if it was a summer friendly or a preseason friendly, as both teams really lacked some urgency. Humble Lion had some good possession but didn't really try to go forward, while Mount Pleasant also had some decent possession but never really looked super threatening. More and more the game was going through its motions, and as the halftime came, at 0-0 makes sense. Second half didn't see much changes, despite changes on both benches, but eventually as it crept up to the 90th minute, it still seems going to be another boring 0-0. Well, from the corner, up stepped again the forgotten man, Acosta Chung, who out of nowhere now gotten 2-2 as he nodded home past Barnes in the goal. I know the header came late, but I felt that Barnes could have done a bit better on the goal. But a goal is a goal, and Chung have now given Mount Pleasant, even if not playing well, a good victory on the road. So let me just quickly look at the stats to show you, well, lack of effort both teams really put into this one. Homeland had 3 total shots compared to Mount Pleasant's 2. Homeland had 0 shots on target compared to the lone shot on target Mount Pleasant, which was the goal. 10 corners though from Mount Pleasant, so you felt the goal would eventually come from one of those. While 0 from corners from Homeland. 0 yellow cards, 0 red cards. So yeah, an easy breezy game for the champions. And again, I guess it bodes well that even when you're not playing well, you get the job done. I would warn Tapa and his men here, you want to go into the playoffs playing your best football, so they should not take the gas off too early just yet. But they're waiting because they got the bye and they officially crowned themselves a regular season champions with this victory. While on the line, we'll see you guys next year and let's see if you guys are better. So once again, it finished Humble Line 0, Mount Pleasant 1. So from one breezy game, honestly, to probably the most boring game of them all. It was the final game of the round and a final game of our review. Veer was taking on Treasure Beach. Of course, Treasure Beach is already relegated and they were smashed in their last game. But we tried to take on a Veer team who are buzzing after playing spoilers by surprising and stunning Portmore last time out. So how did exactly this one went? Yeah, Treasure Beach surprisingly were the much better team. They especially start out the game much better and really should have been 2-0 up within the first 5 minutes. Their main attacker, Taylor Parchment, was the main culprit as he got 2 cracks at it. Veer obviously were still sleeping on the bus when they gave up some easy balls at the back to leave Parchment free in the 60-yard box for him to kick the ball wide for the first shot. In a blink of an eye, the Veer player decided to test Parchment again and gave him the ball once more again in the 6-yard box, but this time he blasted the ball over the bar. Again, Treasure Beach deserved to be up, and this was been the issue all year round. This team was lacked the quality. But credit to them, they continued playing some good football, and they were by far the better team, but this was simply look lost once they reached into the Veer 18-yard box. Halftime came, it was 0-0. Second half, Veer seemed to wake up a little bit. They did come up more better in the second half. They played a little bit better and got more of their own chances. But they never really seemed too bothered to even really test the keeper. Treasure Beach did come on a bit stronger towards the end of the game, but it's hoping to get some pride and consolation for the season, but they couldn't muster anything threatening really. So a boring game honestly that finishes Veer 0, Treasure Beach 0. So let's look at the stats for this one. Not necessarily lack of effort by both teams. Veer had 14 total shots compared to 17 by Treasure Beach. A lot of those were in the first half as they dominated. Veer had 2 shots on target compared to 3 by Treasure Beach. But honestly, most of those shots were nowhere close to the target, honestly. And the game didn't really produce much quality. So again, it finishes Veer 0, Treasure Beach 0. So, of course, that leads us to the table, and the table will have you in suspense. Mount Pleasant, as I said, already captured the regular season. They are the number 1 spot with 56 points after 25 games. They are followed by Tivoli, who are on 51 points after their 25 games. Cavalier are in third, but also on 51 points from their 25 games. And that would necessarily be the top 3 going forward. Portmore United are in fourth on 46 points. Can catch Cavalier, of course, from their 25 games. Arnett is also there at 46 points in 5th. Waterhouse in pole position now in top 6 on their 40 points because of their goal difference of 15. But Montego United will not lose hope. They're also there in 7th on 40 points, but their goal difference is 9. Dunbeholden slide all the way disappointingly to 8th with 34 points from 25 games. Very just enjoying life with 27 points from their 25 games in 9th. Lial is right behind them with 25 points from 25 games in 10th. Lions are content with 23 points from 25 games in 11th. And Harbour View, not relegated, but a poor season, 22 points from their 25 games in 12th. And the relegation boys, Treasure Beach add another point to their record with 13 points from 25 games in 13th spot. And Lial need a case study for themselves. There are 7 points from 25 games, and look at that goal difference, minus 54, my God. But anyway guys, I'm excited. Second to last round of fixtures here in the JPL. It sets up everything beautifully for D-Day, Decision Day, Match Week 26 next week, where all the games will be on at exactly the same time. Who will capture the second automatic spot? Is it Tivoli or Cavalier? who will catch the final playoff spot? Is it Waterhouse or Mobe? So all to play for as the league is getting exciting right in time for the playoffs. But that would do it here for us here at JPL Fan. If you're brand new here or you're returning, please like, subscribe and share. And of course, if for everything on the Jamaican Premier League, you're already at the right place, JPL Fan. Big up yourself, YouTube, and see y'all next week for the big showdown.